I have the file open from our previous work, which is, you guys probably remember. And then there were a few things that I'm going to mention about the stuff we have talked about before. So the first one is how to do a different type of roof. So if you go on the roof, you could definitely do a roof by footprint that we have talked about, but there's another option, roof by extrusion, that we didn't talk about. So I'm going to show you guys that quickly right now. To do that, you need to pick a work plane, which is where you draw the section of the roof to go to. A good option is always to pick a plane. It gives you options to the possibility to pick maybe a wall as your plane, but you could always through here draw a work plane, define that, and use it. So for now, I'm just going to do a pick a plane. I'll say OK, and then I pick that as my working plane. I say I want my roof for level 4. Maybe I want a bit of an offset on it too. I say OK. Then it gives me the drawing tools, similar to a lot of other ones, and then I can draw a section and maybe make a roof that is a little bit different than what I could do with a footprint. And then I'll say OK, it will give me that. So that's a different way of drawing a roof, and it becomes a bit more interesting if you maybe delete that and select your walls and extend them to attach the top to the roof and really match that. You could do that all over your model. Just grab all the walls, attach top to the roof. Now they're all touching there. Just a bit of floor is coming out, which is okay. The part that is a bit bothering is that it's a perfect rectangle from the top. There's also a solution for that. So if you select this, you could draw vertical voids into it, which we kind of showed before, but you could have a different approach too. So if I go to my floor plan and I maybe want to do a cut through here, not really a hole in the middle, but actually a cut that would cover some of the edges, and then I can even maybe chamfer and keep the smooth nature of it in the game. And then, oops. And then when I final that, you'll see that the roof has changed. So maybe it's a bit more interesting approach to drawing a roof. Maybe some of your projects in part 2 would be benefiting from this technique, but definitely worth showing. The other thing we talked about and never showed you guys was how to draw sections that are, we saw this, and then we talked about how to do a split segment somewhere in the middle, and then we were talking about what if they were on angles and they had different angles. I did a quick research. I couldn't find a very promising solution for it, but there's a way around it that we can get the result without actually doing that. So you can't, so basically here you can't do a rotate on just one of these segments, or at least I couldn't find a way for it. You can rotate the whole thing, but not just the segments independently. What you could do instead is to draw, let's say you want to do a section that goes from here to there, and then it will continue maybe from here to there, and you want to show that. And then you can't do this in one section, but you can always do it in 2. So if you do this, you can you will get two separate sections. So this is called so this is one section that has everything in it. Maybe I shouldn't extend it as far. Just going back to the view and make sure I'm covering the right portion. And then what you can do with it is actually to go to a sheet and then grab your sections 3 and 4, bring them in, and then here you can assemble the 2 sections in a way that they will look, they are continuing. So I'm just going to do it quickly, and then you can remove the line that is going around the box boxes. So just it's a dirty work, but let's say that is kind of the result you wanted to get. You can get it through two separate sections and then assembling them here as two separate views. So that would be your section line. If I found a better way for it, I'll show you guys, but for now that's the best solution I could find. That's that. The other thing we never talked about actually is how to put in grids in your drawing and have a grid system. And I'm gonna show you that right now very quickly. So if you're under architecture and down here you can draw grids and levels. So if you are in an elevation, your level will be on, and if you are in a plan, your grids will be. And as soon as you click on your grid, you will have kind of similar drawing tools. So you could pick a line, which in this case is a wall, and define that as a grid, or you could actually come in and just draw a grid. So as you can see, the first point is kind of the tail, and the other one is the bubble end of the grid, and it comes with a defined value. I can also align it to wherever I want, and then I can start copying from this over here. Let's say 6 meters. I can also lock them. They're automatically locked. So if I decided to move one end, the other end will move with it, and it would be cleaner. If I set this to the number I want from the beginning, so let's say if it's A and this is B, the next copy that I make, I should automatically go to just C without me having an effect on it. There you go. And then you could do it the other way as well. So same thing, you can now this time maybe we will pick a line, and then this is our grid. You would extend that to here and there. Maybe this, you want to give them numbers instead of letters. And then a few tools similar to the floor that we were showing before, so you can do that if there are grids that are close by. You want to move one of the numbers away, or even if you don't want to see that numbering thing, you can always do those. And then you can add it on both sides, similar to section lines and levels. Questions so far? No? So they were the 3 things that I missed from previous tutorials. And then one last thing, we talked about the short keys, but I never showed you guys what is there. You will find them as you work through this, and a lot of people only use short keys or mostly use short keys to get to the things, the tools they want to use. There was an article, I think it was last year, yeah, January 2017, very close to a year ago, and they have talked about some of the values and well-defined short keys in ArcDaily in an article. So I will send this to you guys so that you guys know. You can do a lot of creating and editing through here. You can do a lot of selections. You can control your views, and you can deal with your file operations through the keys. And they are not that difficult, so basically the first thing you think about probably is correct. So like if you want to draw a wall, WA is the short key for it, or if you want to do a move, MV would be the short key for it. So, or align is AL. So they have tried to keep it very simple.